I think one of the reasons why working on grasslands projects was simple for me was because I grew up on a family farm. We had everything from chickens early on. We never had any hogs, but we had chickens.
To be able to go out and film on these farms and ranches with such incredible people is just an amazing opportunity. They're farming and ranching, they're doing something they have a burning passion for. And you can just tell, and you can tell when you film the interviews and you put together the story. It's just such a beautiful thing to go out and do what I love and then film someone else doing what they love.
It has gone from just being a job to really being a passion and, my life's work. Having work with purpose, There's been millions of acres of grassland lost over the years, and we continue to lose grassland at an alarming rate. And so we are filming and sharing stories of farmers and ranchers that have really dedicated their lives to caring for the grasslands.
I do speak fluent farmer, yeah, pretty much. And that's just handy because right away you have a rapport with people. You understand, you can ask them an intelligent question and they don't look at you sideways like, where are you from?
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. And the fact that I had some street cred having, I think I shot 206 covers for successful farming between '83 and present day. That's a lot of covers.
Yeah.
It's a lot of road time. I mean, we shot covers from Maine to California. I hit all 50 states before I was 38.
You had all the farm work you were doing, but you also became one of the top, I don't know what you call it, outdoor lifestyle hunting and fishing photographers in the world, really.
Yeah, I was very busy in that for, God, probably 25, 30 years, just shooting stuff for all of the major publications that dealt with hunting and fishing. That kind of led towards me doing ad work for a lot of the products for the archery companies, the gun companies, the bullet companies, all those guys. And I speak, not only did I speak fluent farmer, I speak fluent firearms and archery too, so that helped a lot.
So I started filming farm stories back in 2010. I had been a still photographer. I shot weddings for 15 years. I shot like 500 weddings. Started doing commercial work, and in around 2010, I filmed my first commercial with the Canon 5D Mark II. As a still photographer, I looked at the writing on the wall and I said, these cameras are shooting cinematic looking footage without the big giant cameras, and there's something to this. And Mitch was doing the same thing. He was kind of taking a similar path. We decided as still photographers that we needed to jump on board. Plus we were storytellers. It just made sense. And so it was just a natural transition to switch to video and actually mic people up and getting their stories. So my first farm stories were for General Mills, Cascadian Farms in north of Seattle, and actually Charlie was with me the second time out for those stories. Farmer Jimmy was retiring after 30 years of running the farm, and that led to stories for other General Mills brands, Muir Glen, Cascadian Farms, Nature Valley, Cheerios, and others, anywhere from the southern United States up into Canada, filming stories. Filmed Kaisa Perman's wedding. Her family, Lyle and Garnett Perman, received the South Dakota Leopold Conservation Award in 2014. And Lyle Perman told Colette Kessler of the NRCS that she should bring me out to film the story. Brought my buddy Andrew Hill out with me, and he was my editor and also ran a second camera. And the equipment was nowhere near what we have now, but looking at that story now, it still has merit. Lyle Garnett had an amazing story, put it together well, and they saw value in it. So next thing I knew, South Dakota was my home for 6 months out of the year. So fast forward, you found out you had cancer. You lived in a house just across town here in Delano.
Yep.
A beautiful log home.
5 miles from here, really
You
nice
had a
log home. Yep.
amazing studio on top of your garage, and you were just churning. You had lots of work. You got cancer, and like most people that are self-employed, you can't really cover for a year off, you know.
No, not
get
at all.
cancer,
Especially when you were having, bills that were pretty stout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you took a job at Federal, and I've worked with the folks at Federal Cartridge. I used to work with them years before at North American Hunter, and I was kind of watching you dying on the vine. I knew it was driving you crazy to be sitting in an office. We talked about you editing all day long, and that's just not your thing.
I gotta have some sky, man. That was I don't do well in captivity, so it's had to get out.
Yeah.
Okay, you called me up and you said, "Hey, can you write stories?" I said, "Yeah." And then I'll need you to shoot some stills, and then next thing you know, we're just doing everything together, and it was great.
I bailed you out.
You
I got
saved
you out of
my
the
bacon.
office.
You saved me. You saved my bacon, brother. No joke.
Well, it wasn't that. It was just a good combination to have somebody else on the road.
It's like life. Life works out
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
Just stay awake for it.
Yeah. You were out on one of those
we
shoots
went
with
out
me for Muir Glen.
Later on in the tomato patch for a
yeah.
couple days. Yeah.
Yep, and then up into Canada with Nature Valley and Cheerios. Did you go up there with me?
Yeah, remember I got in trouble with the customs guy.
That's right.
What was that? What was that
Well,
quippy
the guy
line?
asked a really simple question, and you gave him a really complicated and passive-aggressive answer, which you normally don't do when you're trying to get into another country, but that's very Mitch, right?
Yeah, I forget what it was. He was laughing when we got done. I know that.
Oh, I thought they were going to set you on the glass toilet.
Well, you guys were already through customs, and I'm back there haggling with this dude over some innocuous thing. I don't know what it was, but.
You know, I'd been doing this all by myself, and so, you know, everything worked out. Obviously, things weren't working out for you at the time, but it worked out that we were able to hit the road together. And not only does it help to have a second camera and a second set of eyes, but just the amount of time that you spend on the road, you know, to be able to hang out with somebody and really enjoy what we get to see out there.
Yeah, never had a bad day on a grasslands gig ever. Not a one. Nope.
Yeah.
Hours were long, weather was sketchy. Who cares?
Yeah. We watched Charlie, and Charlie had the good fortune of working alongside two guys that have been in the business a long time. And, you know.
Yep, you got a leg up.
I watched him over the years, and he went from, you know, kind of being in the background, he was pretty quiet at the time, to, you know, I would look over and he would be shoulder to shoulder with the rancher, and he would be intently listening, right? And showing his photos, and I could tell then that he had transitioned from somebody who was just kind of along for the ride to somebody that really understood what our purpose was, and he really developed a passion for it.
Yeah, I remember chimping with him.
Oh, and I have
constantly.
photos of you and him, and you know, it was nice to have somebody other than his dad there that could help him. And he just, all of a sudden he got good, like really good. Like I looked at his photos and I was like, man, I wish I would have shot that, right? You've been there, right? You look at somebody's photo, and Charlie in particular, like, became, like, before he was out of high school, he was shooting photos that were like what I wasn't shooting until I was, you know, in my 30s,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
And I suppose growing up looking at photos, you know, I suppose maybe that rubs off. You start to shoot, and I think he shot a lot like I do. He saw a lot like I do, and it was probably from just studying it over the years.
Well,
But
that
then,
and endless hours of two of us talking about it. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
He's in the back seat. You know, if he didn't have his ears on, he was listening to us. So.
Yeah.
I realize how lucky I am to be able to do what I do and to be able to see the places that I've seen in my life. Like, a lot of people don't get to experience those kind of things, and being able to show people, you know, where their food's coming from, and, you know, the kind of people that are making the impact on this land is super important to me.
So what's the typical and I'll share this as well, but what's the typical day on a grassland story? To set the scene, like, we didn't just go out there for a single story. When you're driving from the Twin Cities, and we're Twin Cities based filmmakers, and you're driving out to, you know, eastern or central or western South Dakota, you kind of want to get as many stories in as you can on one drive so you're not going back and forth. So we have multiple days. Typically it was 3 stories in a row that we would shoot. So go ahead.
Yep, yeah, so we'd get cracking at 3 in the morning and find bad coffee somewhere, or hotel coffee, which, did I say bad coffee? I repeated myself, didn't I? Anyway, so we got that going on, and we hit the road and get out there and
Rolling out of bed at sometimes 3:30 in the morning to drive somewhere that could be 45 minutes to an hour away. Barely having my eyes open until I get there, and then once the cameras get rolling, then, you know, things just turn on. And, you know, it's usually, I like to think about the first light is, it's usually trying to capture, you know, the coolest moments. You know, saddling up a horse and taking it out and herding some cattle. And, you know, for me, it was just such a cool experience because I feel like it brought me energy to see that in the morning.
figure out some kind of sunrise shot and wait for a meadowlark to jump on a post and give us a little tune, and interview the farmers as they're coming out. A lot of times we'd already had talked to them the day before, so they knew we were coming back second time, right?
You show up at these ranches and it's been a grind just to get there, and then you're standing there and then you start to see that blue light and that sun starts to clip over the horizon. And generally we got a drone in the air at that time, but every single time we did it, and I'm still doing it, it just gets more amazing, you know? You know, talk about our amazing grasslands. I mean, you stand out there in the middle of, it's really the middle of nothing. And that's what really struck me when I first started doing this, was that you drive through South Dakota or you fly over these states that are just grassland, and you're like, well, there's nothing there. Like, this can't be all that that amazing. Like, we're just gonna get through it to get somewhere else. But if you stand out in the middle of nowhere and watch that sunrise, and, you know,
it goes right from nothing to everything.
And just the birds and the insects and the breeze blowing through the grasses, and it
takes you back to time before modern era stuff.
Right.
Sit there and watch that sun come up in the black, starts purpling up, and all of a sudden you realize, I can stand here and I can look to the horizon and not see a single piece of human interference. It's just that beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like an earth and moonscape almost. And you realize these are really important to save, really important to educate people about.
Right.
And that's what I think drove us to stay with it as long as we did, because it means something. It's serious business.
Yeah.